Brought to you by Fumbisayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
Well, a very big welcome. This is the second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 8th day of October 2022. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our headlines tonight, 5 presidents arrive in Uganda ahead of the 60th Independence Day celebrations. Kabaka applauds NEMA's environmental conservation efforts. Police warns public against mob justice. And Uganda and Mali agree on a military cooperation framework. Good evening once again and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. Now we start off this newscast. President William Ruto is in Uganda ahead of Uganda's Independence Day celebrations. He was received by President Yoweri Museveni. The trip is Dr. Ruto's first visit to Uganda since he was elected president, and the Supreme Court validated his victory last month. Uganda is Kenya's biggest trading partner, with Uganda relying on the port of Mombasa for most of its imports. Dr. Ruto, who is accompanied by Kenya's First Lady Rachel Chebet, later met President Museveni, who was flanked by Uganda's First Lady at State House in Entebbe. Now, as you can see in that footage, you did see other presidents who included South Sudanese President Salva Kiir. We also did have his counterpart, Somali counterpart, His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, as well as Burundian President Evariste Ndayishimiye, and then the Zanzibar President, His Excellency Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi. Now, moving on, the 24th National Breakfast has been held at State House Entebbe this Saturday, officiated by President Yoweri Museveni and attended by who's who in Uganda. Bishop J.B. Masinde, the founder and senior pastor of Deliverance Church International Umoja, General Secretary of Deliverance Church International, and a member of the Apostolic Council and Deliverance Church Council, was the chief preacher. Mr. Bahati, who also doubles as the chairman of the Uganda Parliamentary National Prayer Breakfast Fellowship, said this year's national prayer theme is Arise and Build, picked from Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 18.
On the issue of whether Christians should okakarukana nebyensi should participate in our struggles here on earth, my emphasis was on the parable of the talents, because somebody a master gave his people talents. Some used them and others did not. And he praised the ones who had multiplied the talents. So I said, why don't you look at that? Talents, if they are not used, you are letting down what God told you to do. Then, for me, I always, even yesterday, we were opening a factory somewhere, and I was telling these people what God said from the very beginning in the book of Genesis, the fundamental mandate of the human being: multiply and fill the earth, which the Africans do very well. That one, there is no debate. But then also establish dominion over nature.
And say, this is what I'm hearing about my city, about my nation, about my country, about my people. And I want us to arise. Allow me to go back so that I can mobilize them, so that we can arise and we can build our city and our city of Jerusalem one more time.
I humbly suggest to all of you, my African friends, my Ugandan friends especially, show moral leadership by staying true to your unique identity and principles. Arise, Uganda. To my European and North American friends, I appeal, as you preach tolerance in the West and beyond, please also be respectful of the life, family, and social values of our African brothers and sisters. Let us not impose, but encounter, as I have had the great privilege to be doing in the 15 years of working with legislators, and many of them African legislators.
The Vice President, Major Jessica Lupo, has said that leadership is the engine for development and transformation of societies. The Vice President noted that it's because of the above pillars that the country is being transformed from peasant economy to a prosperous one under the able leadership of President Yoweri Museveni. The Vice President was officiating at the first Golden Youth Symposium held yesterday at Soroti University in Soroti District.
The first ever Youth Institutional Symposium drew youth leaders from institutions of higher learning across the country. It was organized under the theme, Leadership-Based Approach to Institutional Development. Flanked by the Deputy Commander of Defense Forces, Peter Elwelu, Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo counseled the youth leaders, saying leadership is influence and not authority, urging them to always have quest to listen to every word and voice, use eyes, ears, and brains to avoid being pushed into undesirable temptations.
As young people, you must all know that our responsibility is to try to give back to this country as much as it has given us. As we continue our transformation journey together, what legacy do we leave behind as young people? Because there will be a time when you will not be a youth again. What legacy have you left as a youth? I am sure at one time you were children. What legacy did you leave as a child? And that means that this life, you must keep building your foundation. And once you start with a strong foundation, you end with a very sustainable product. You end with a very strong and valuable and sustainable leadership skills in light of your usefulness to wherever you will be.
The Vice President, acting on motherly instincts, appealed to the youth to be good primary beneficiaries of government infrastructural services. Alupo assured the young leaders that the society needs young men and women who are trainable, resilient, and ready to serve their country with zeal.
The old note of 10,000 and the new note of 10,000. This one may have been in circulation longer than this one. But this one does not have control on why this one was in circulation longer than it. When you are conducting yourself in public, deal with values. Deal with values. I saw President Museveni going to Kenya, and the Kenyans gave him a standing ovation because of value. I saw President Museveni in Rwanda, and they gave him a standing ovation because of value. I saw him in South Sudan. They gave him a standing ovation because of value. His value. We cannot, as Ugandans, run away from that value.
The Deputy Commander of the Defense Forces, General Peter Elwelu, spoke to the youth about patriotism and love for one's country. He noted that they cannot be patriotic youth when they cannot respect their elders, adding that the formula for a good youth is to be able to transform communities. The Usuk Member of Parliament, Bosco Okirol, and Jacob Eyeru, the chairperson of the National Youth Council, also addressed the youth leaders, among others. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
The Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, has applauded the National Environment Management Authority for the efforts to defend environment. Kabaka was addressing his subjects as Buganda marks 60 years of independence that was gained on 8th October 1962. However, this day, Kabaka ordered to be celebrated the Bulungi Bwansi and local government in the kingdom.
Ebbanga lye tumaze nga tukuza olunaku lwa bulungi bwansi wano mu Buganda, waliwo ebintu ebituzzaamu amaanyi, okugeza okulaba nga buli mwaka obujjumbize bw'abantu baffe ku lunaku luno bweyongera bweyongezi, era ne kituwa essuubi naddala bwe tujjukira nti ebiseera eby'obwakabaka bwaffe eby'omu maaso biri mu mikono gyabwe. Kyetuva tweyongera okubakubiriza obutassa mukono ku nsonga ey'okukuuma obutonde bw'ensi n'endala zonna ezitunyigiriza ng'obwakabaka ne Uganda okutwalira awamu. Nga kye ŋŋamba nti mwongere okwogeza eddoboozi erimu ate nga lya mwanguka nga mulwanirira ensonga zaffe. Twagala okwebaza omulimu ogukolebwa abalondoola obutonde bw'ensi. Abannema bakoze nnyo era tusiimye nnyo. Twagala ensi ey'emirembe ekuumiddwa obulungi era etuweesa essanyu. Tubakulisa okukuza olunaku luno era tubaagaliza essanyu n'emirembe. Katonda abakuume.
Uganda and Mali have concluded a 3-day bilateral discussions by signing a framework on military cooperation at Speak Resort Munyonyo, Kampala. The technical teams of both countries drafted a legal military framework that has been signed today by the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs for Uganda and the Mali Defense Minister. The military framework will guide the entire process of fostering unity and cooperation in military between the two countries. The Minister of Defense, Honorable Vincent Bamulangaki Sempija, in his remarks pledged that Uganda will remain fully committed to working with the Republic of Mali to confront common threats to the sister countries. On his part, Honorable Colonel Sadio Kamara, the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs of Mali, observed that Mali as a country has started an effort of reforming its security sector with an objective of giving special attention to mobilizing civilian masses against terrorism. The Uganda-Mali Memorandum of Understanding is the first military cooperation framework to be signed between the two countries and is aimed at promoting and further strengthening ties of friendship and fraternity between the two parties' armed forces. Uganda gained her independence from Britain on the 9th of October 1962. An estimated 240 members of the brass band from the army and police played both anthems that saw the Union Jack come down and the beautiful Uganda flag made its way to the helm. At 90 years, Abednego Orech, who became the first black music director in 1966, was among the 240 historical band members who sounded the first anthem. Take a look.
Uganda, if you go to Colorado, there's two flag poles there. One was the British tied up and Uganda was tied, ready to go down. Midnight, 11:59, 1 minute to go. The parade commander give double salute. Royal for Queen, for British, national for Uganda. British flag is up. They said, Royal and national salute. Present, hum. Then rap, 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 rap. Then the band, we playing the British national anthem. The flag is still there, 1 minute to go. God save our gracious Queen, long live, playing by the band.
Born in 1932 in Apache District, Muzei, Abednego Orech joined the British Army Band in 1950 during the King's African Rifle. When the wind of change started looming in 1958, Abednego was Sergeant Major in the Army Band and was among the 240 band members who sounded the magnanimous anthems in 1962 that pulled down the Union Jack as the crane rose as a sign of sovereignty.
Queen Midnight, oh Uganda, may God have all. That one is coming down and this one is going up. They all meet on the road. La, la.
Played or sang before and after official functions, the national anthem composed by George Wilberforce Kakoma was first played on October 9, 1962 during the Independence Day celebration. A national anthem is part of the paraphernalia of iconography that many of us inherited and regard as both normal and normative.
The Uganda flag is down, up, the British down. That's how the thing happened. Then people were enjoying a lot of things. Noise, happy, clappings and doing this. Midnight. Queen's husband, Phillips, was the one witnessing handover.
Abednego and retired Colonel Tonotoa, who was then a student of Virika Fort Photo, share their experience of this historical day.
The system we inherited, to tell you the truth, that system was a system that worked. Civil servants were dedicated to their work. By 8 o'clock, every civil servant was in the office. And by that time, we were working up to Saturday until Amin made it from Monday to Friday after the coup, 1971.
Band, there were only two bands, Army Band and Police Band. Both director of music were all Wazungu. And I was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, appointed director of music of the Army. And Oduka was promoted to the director of music, Police Band. So I recruited 180 and trained them for 9 months in Kiraka. Then prison band was established. And then I trained the Air Force Band for 9 months and also was trained. Now we have got 4 security guards for security band.
Retired Colonel Tonotoa Anae clan head said the British left us responsibility and accountability, which regrettably has been diluted.
In those particular days, talks about corruption, except 1965, when there was these allegations by Cheng Dawoodi about the gold that Amin brought during the civil war in Congo. That was the only time I heard about people taking money.
Both Tony Oto and Abednego have sharp memories of the political instabilities of our country, in which Abednego lost his right eye and survived assassination in 1972. He was saved by one Lieutenant Abdullahi, a Lokbara friend, a few minutes before the trigger was pulled.
Opened the gate and said, "Director, you come, we go," so that man removed me. Then how I survived. There was no telephone. Malemungu was GSO1 operation and training. He was brigadier, radio call to all battalion now and actually clear them off from your barracks. And I was here that day.
They appealed to the current politicians to scale down their political tones. Besides writing songs for Ugandan forces, Abednego has written many anthems for different institutions, including Lao Cultural Anthem and the Ugandan Kings and Chiefs Anthem. He retired from the army in 1980 and currently serving as a priest in the Pentecostal Church. Eddie Olua, UBC News.
Thank you, Eddie Olua, for giving us some wonderful insight and getting these veterans to talk to us about playing the first ever Ugandan anthem in 1962. All right, UBC News tonight does continue. Ugandan scientists want government to rally behind them to develop capacity in manufacturing vaccines by harnessing the advancement of technology in order to reduce reliance on imported health solutions. Now, this is looked at in the direction of managing epidemics that have time to time hit the country, leading to devastating impacts like loss of lives.
Uganda is celebrating 60 years of independence at a time when it is credited as one of the African countries with capacity to handle epidemics. The country has suffered a series of epidemics, like the current Ebola outbreak that is being battled, Marburg, yellow fever, Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, avian influenza, and recently COVID-19 that has affected the whole world.
In the 60 years Uganda has been independent, I am only aware in the last 5 years that the first Ebola outbreak, which was in northern Uganda, which affected over 420 people, where we lost Dr. Rukia, was a major epidemic in Uganda. And we lost almost 230 patients within that first epidemic of Ebola. That was a major outbreak. We then also recently had COVID. COVID was also a major pandemic, not only in Uganda, because now the whole world was also involved. So the world was able to see what we go through as well.
Over the years, Uganda has developed a robust integrated disease surveillance and response system that takes active disease surveillance in communities by village health teams, and this facilitates early detection, safe transportation of samples, laboratory testing, contact tracing, case management, and community engagement are all positive strengths for Uganda's better management of epidemics.
The leadership which is very transparent. When there is an outbreak and it requires notification of the world, international community, we tell the international community. We've been able to manage all previous outbreaks based on evidence and science. We've been able to mobilize the whole masses of Ugandans to give them the accurate information, and the people take the information. And our biggest strength also is that the community trusts our scientists. The people of Uganda trust our health workers, so what we tell them they believe and they follow. Because public health practice requires that people believe what you say, because it's them convincing to come and seek care and also believe that the care they're receiving is the appropriate and evidence. First of all, we also have many trained health professionals, and they have been helping fight all these epidemics in the other countries. So we have a pool of expertise and resources in this country.
These outbreaks have not only tested and strengthened the country's preparedness and response system, but also given health workers experience. Uganda's Ministry of Health also puts more emphasis on infection prevention and control, especially by the health workers, and logistics and supplies management to ensure that personnel protection equipment is available when needed.
But it is important that we protect the health workers. It is also important for health workers to understand that in their normal day-to-day routine work, they need to protect themselves, because we don't know what a patient will come with. So it is pertinent that they put on their gloves, keep their masks on, use aprons.
However, scientists now want the country to develop capacity to solve health challenges using the advancement of science like gene therapy and biotechnology to develop vaccines like for Ebola and COVID-19.
Applications of that, obviously developing the vaccines, as we have seen in COVID-19. A lot of transgenic technologies were used to create some of the vaccines that were used to, to recover and manage the pandemic. Also, the last Ebola epidemic, mostly in West Africa, was solved by genetically modified drugs and even vaccines. In fact, some of those vaccines were used here in Uganda to protect health workers at the borderline, especially those that would meet potential patients coming from DR Congo, had to receive genetically modified vaccines to protect them. So again, those are some of the ways pandemics can be solved using this gene technology. Another way is to control the vectors. If the pandemic disease is transmitted by, say, a vector insect or a mosquito or a tick, those also can be controlled using transgenics.
So Uganda, as we celebrate 60 years of independence, we've come a long way to build our own system, to learn how to have leadership to respond and manage. And we've also now learned that we need to be able to manufacture some of the items we need to respond to diseases, because that becomes national security if we can't do it. So we are in a position to plan better for our country, to know that for national security, health is paramount.
As the country counts years of independence, it is critical that independence is achieved in areas like health, where the country needs to develop the pharmaceutical industry to manufacture medicines and vaccines to minimize relying on foreign health solutions. Joshua Kagoro, Adia Nakuti, UBC News.
Thank you, Joshua Kagoro and Nadia Nakuti. Uganda Broadcasting Corporation brings to you the life, career and history of Lieutenant General Kayanja Muhanga, the newly appointed commander of land forces and the man at the command of the UPDF troops in the DRC. Haruna Mutasasira had a one-on-one with a man now traversing the complex jungles of the DRC in search of yet another enemy of the people. Take a look.
General Kayanja Muhanga, who has been promoted to Lieutenant General and appointed Commander Land Forces.
On Tuesday this week, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces promoted Kayanja Muhanga from Major General to Lieutenant General and appointed him the new Commander of Land Forces, replacing Muhoozi Kainerugaba, now promoted to the rank of Full General. Lieutenant General Kayanja Muhanga has been serving as the Commander of Mountain Division and also Commander of Operation Suja that was launched on November 30th, 2021 to fight the ADF rebels in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. In 1985, while still in Senior 5, Muhanga joined the National Resistance Army NRA to serve his country, not knowing the future ahead of him.
The military is it's a calling. It's a calling. It's about patriotism. It's about being a revolutionary. It's about discipline. It's about hard work and loyalty. Very, very important.
Kayanja Muhanga also served in the Presidential Protection Unit as a private with no rank from 1986 until 1988. He attended cadet officers course at Uganda Military Academy in 1988. At that time, the school was located at Gaddafi Barracks in Jinja.
I cannot assess myself, so all these missions, it's the assessment by the army leadership that decides on where I should be at what time. Brigade command a long time ago, when I was still a major, I was commanding a brigade, and there are many operations I have been in. Against the ADF, Kony, against the ADF, against the LRA, against the Al-Shabaab, many operations.
On his promotion, Lieutenant General Muhanga says he is grateful to the Commander-in-Chief and the Army leadership for trust in him.
I'm also grateful to the Commander-in-Chief who has put this trust in me to do the job. I'm very grateful to the army leadership, and that is it.
With no doubt of his military and commanding skills, Kayanja has promised to work hand in hand with his seniors in the UPDF leadership to attain the intended objectives.
A lot to do. That's why I was telling you that this is a big office. It needs hard work, it needs a lot of discipline, it needs a lot of commitment. It's a lot to do, there is a lot to do.
Previously was a division commander of 2nd Division. He has served in Somalia twice as a contingent commander. He has commanded in South Sudan, our forces that were helping to stabilize that country. General Kayanja Muhanga is well known as a mobilizer. He has been, he's known and respected in Somalia for having mobilized operation against the Al-Shabaab terrorists.
General Muhoozi, the outgoing CLF, General MK, has done a very, very commendable job in that office. He has achieved a lot of things, So filling his size of shoe will not be an easy task.
Kayanja remains the overall commander Operation Suja in Democratic Republic of Congo.
The Commander Land Forces overlooks all these operations. He commands all these operations.
In Eastern Congo, peace and security is largely attributed to his experience as Operation Suja Commander and Mountain Division. Muhanga has conducted a positive campaign to flush out the ADF rebels by placing detachments at Mkakati, Kainama, Beru, Brasi, and along Semriki Mbao Road, depriving the ADF supply.
We shall overrun every ADF camp in Eastern DRC. We shall reach everywhere they are.
Under his command, witnessed partly the construction of roads, which led troops and fighting equipment to move deeper to hunt for the ADF rebels. From 1983 until 1997, he served as the intelligence officer attached to UPDF barracks in Mubende. In 2014, served as the chief of military police, appointed command of the UPDF operations in South Sudan, and was promoted to the rank of brigadier in 2014. Muhanga was promoted and posted to Mogadishu in Somalia as part of UPDF contingent to AMISOM. The values and contributions of UPDF soldiers who are not part of our daily lives. May this story symbolize a heart to citizens that applaud the services of men and women in uniform, whom we never shake their hands to express our gratitude. Haruna Motesasira reporting for UBC News in Fort Portal City.
Thank you, Haruna. Now UBC News Tonight takes a very short break. We'll return after these messages.
Pick it, pack it, share it. The 4G Wakanet MiFi. Pocket it, use it, enjoy it. Visit any MTN service center or Banana Phone World outlets. Get it at 75K. The MTN 4G Pocket MiFi is it.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for the next 11 months. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Uganda is born again, free and independent.
The Uganda at 60 Business Breakfast Conference will be held on October 12, 2022 at Speak Resort Munyonyo. The Red Carpet event will bring together influential business leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, development partners, and senior government officials. The theme is COVID-19, Conflict and Energy Crisis, the lessons for Uganda in managing geopolitical risk. The guest speaker is Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Topics to discuss include oil and gas, emerging technologies, job creation, agribusiness, regional trade, and sports and creatives. To participate, call 0705 340 477 or 0701 490 492. Hosted by Kampala Economic Renaissance Foundation in partnership with Afro Mobile, Chiriandongo Sugar, Speak Resort Munyonyo, Uganda Investment Authority, Ministry of Trade and Investment, Subula, Trotbach Energies, and more others.
come pirabiri mwabiri ku cricket overlook ekulantede bwabitamu tujo mutusimu nanyali October Bidel Musaba Gardens Mukono, October Mukaga Millennium Gardens Sazibuaya, October Munanaji Montelembara, Community October, 40 Poto Muchisawe, Abidim Bi October, Bale Sports Center, Umtual Como, Yebem Tuale Santo, a meza million yemo, Wabla Tual Kuba, Abana tickets of Akosa M10 Momo, Banjagusa Sulan Comitano, Binamina Romo Center, Hiva Motors, Galaxy FM, Radio 4, Kawila War, TN.
Welcome back from that break. Now in more news, Uganda allied health professionals have asked government to consider the provision of personal protective gears to health workers in the fight against the spread of Ebola. Addressing journalists in Kampala, the president, Uganda Allied Health Professionals, Patrick Dennis Alibu, said whereas health workers are fighting to save Ebola patients, most of them are scared as they lack adequate protective gears.
So far, 4 health workers have succumbed to Ebola and are said they contracted the virus while on duty.
Is the issue of medical insurance and compensation. So we are serving this country, and you know very well that health workers commit themselves. This is a calling from God, but we should also be protected as we serve the communities.
Uganda allied health workers have asked government to intensify the provisions of the required protective gears to health workers.
Indeed, if government at the end of the day fails to respond to the call, the only option is to lay down the tools for those particular places that don't have PPEs and yet are faced with the diseases. But we want to be very positive that government is very responsive, and as you've seen, Minister of Health on their feet.
They emphasized the need to compensate health workers' families who have succumbed in the line of duty.
These emerging conditions don't have known treatments, and indeed Ebola virus does not have absolute treatment. But we all know that prevention is better than cure, right from primary level for each and every person, including our people in the villages. So I encourage the government and all stakeholders to take note of the issue of providing adequate information.
According to the Compensation Act, health workers who die while on duty are compensated 60 times their salaries. Health workers have been cautioned to be vigilant while executing their duties and not to attend to any patient without protective gears. The need of psychosocial support to survivors of the Ebola disease has been highlighted as important to restore hope to the survivors. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Thank you, Sudat Kaye. Now, Director Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Olaro, says they are finalizing the policy on palliative care and waiting to present it to Parliament. This was during the commemoration of World Palliative Care Day that took place at Mulago Hospital Playground.
Participating in the welcome back. 7, 8.
Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the World Hospice and Palliative Care Day, aimed at forging ways of improving the quality of life of patients and that of their families. The Director, Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Olaro, says government integrated palliative care from the national hospitals to primary health care levels across the country.
We need to finalize the policy for palliative care. The Ministry has already started it. We have already done the regulatory impact assessment. So we are waiting to present it to Cabinet. And when we have this, the policy will provide guidance on how we need to deliver services of palliative care across the country.
Country Director, Palliative Care Association of Uganda, stressed that the global need for palliative care will continue to grow as the result of the aging population and the rising burden of non-communicable and communicable diseases.
To make sure that we amplify the voice, to make sure that this service is spread across the country. Right now in our country, we know that over 500,000 people need this service because the World Health Organization estimates that at least 1% of every population requires this service. But these services are still limited in coverage. Right now in Uganda, we are talking about only 300 hospitals which have palliative care.
According to the World Health Organization, 56.8 million people, including 25.7 million, within the last year of life are in need of palliative care. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Now, a self-styled NRM High Command YKM chaired by Wanti Nyefunza Juma has endorsed President Yoweri Museveni as the sole candidate come 2026 presidential elections. Now, the group that is comprised mainly of youth have vowed to support the president come the next elections.
The exhibition of Pan-Africanism amongst the East African community leaders, bringing peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo, are some of the points the NRM High Command has given to support President Yoweri Museveni come 2026.
As NRM High Command, which is a collection of all people from all the ghettos of Kampala, that he has the right vision, at least to complete this 2026 term. And we feel it is not a hurried decision. It is just timely, and we also feel that the earlier the better.
With members across the country, NRM High Command has tried to engage and encourage youth to embrace government programs.
As of today, you see people like Catherine Kusasira saying she invested in a party and she needs a payback. This is not what the party calls for. If you're surely ideologically clear, you cannot demand from your party. You would say, what have I done for the party? So we still need to fine-tune all our followers, all the subscribers of NRM into ideological training and clarity.
However, government has been asked to increase on the funds allocated to government programs, especially the parish development model, among others.
But we still need to localize this skilling to best suit especially the people who come from the slum areas. If at all we got hold of like, for instance, garages that they are in an area or carpentry workshops, and we place our youth there, I would think it would really create a lot of results, because most of the time people shy away from moving from their areas to go to where they are being called for to train.
They have asserted that the oil pipeline will become a success for the economy, and this will put the country to higher rankings. NRM command members stressed the need of opening up more factories to create jobs and believe the Skin and Hides factory, opened recently, will produce quality leather products and also create employment.
Excellency, sir, still you are doing a very possible to see the children of this country are skilled in various fields, and this program is being well managed by the State House Controller.
The members called for continuous supervision of government products and are optimistic that the NRM party will win massively come 2026 because of the evident numerous projects made. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The National Curriculum Development Center rolled out the new lower secondary school curriculum aiming at producing graduates with employable skills that are competitive on the labor market. The Deputy Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Michael Okumu, says students will be equipped with hands-on skills for self-sustenance.
Uganda's education system is targeting to produce graduates with skills that are competitive on the job market. The Deputy Director in charge of assessment and certification at the Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Michael Okumu, says students completing the lower secondary curriculum will be employable.
The main focus of this curriculum is majorly on the promoting skill training at an early stage and making them to like vocational training right up at the lower level. Because the kind of education which we have been having, there is now a shift from the general education to the competent-based type of training.
The Directorate of Industrial Training is on a familiarization tour countrywide of secondary schools to sensitize and inspect the new curriculum. The curriculum enables learners to start up income-generating activities when out of school.
So we're also checking on the progress as far as these pre-vocational subjects, the training and the implementation is going on. And also to talk to them, to encourage them to do more. And
the headmistress, St. Catherine Senior Secondary in Lira District, Nangwara Rose Nakwagala, says the curriculum has made the education sector more practical. She hailed parents for their material contribution towards the vocational subjects in the school.
We now have what we call occupations, where students are learning on the job. By senior 3, they will have got skills, or they will be equipped with the skills that can usher them into the community and into the job market.
8 practical subjects for the start to be assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training next year are agriculture, art and design, entrepreneurship, performing arts, nutrition and food technology, ICT, physical education, technology and design.
I have passion for technology, but I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to leave innovation and technology stuff behind.
I want to help the local farmers to preserve their products from the farms, because most of them face that challenge of preserving their products.
Each student will sit for only one occupation according to his competence and convenience. Mnavka Farida and Ganga Henry.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
John Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial *175 *9# to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the business scene. Students have been advised to embrace vocational studies and approach them not as a favorite pastime activity. This was echoed during the dedication of candidate classes at Namnyango College in Mukono District.
With examinations for candidate classes approaching, activity at most schools is of dedication and prayer. At Namilyango College in Mukono District, the prayer session was by Father Dr. Gerard Buenvu, who preached against negative peer influence.
Pray, my dear brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours may be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father. May the Lord accept the sacrifice.
The school head teacher Constantine Impuga is optimistic the current crop will reach the 100% pass mark that failed last time out by just 4.
Having these prayers
to put them before God, in the hands of God, and we pray that they excel in their academics as they sit their final examinations of UNEP. We pray that we get a better performance than last year. Last year performed very well. Namiang College is known for excellence in academics and other fields. But this time we are praying for excellence in academics. Last year we got 96% first grades. Our prayer and our target is to have 100% first grades. And A-level, we still expect that everybody passes and qualifies to join the university.
But his best message was to the students during vacation to embrace vocational skills like working in garages to gain meaningful self-employable skills.
I advise parents during these holidays the candidates are going to undertake to give them a chance to be close to them, to know them, to guide them, and where possible, let them undertake other courses or let them get skill-based subjects, skill-based courses. They can also be taken to good places like garages to get experience, something like mechanics. They can take them to engineers who may be electrical, even if they start by lifting boxes.
Namiryango College was founded in 1902 on the motto, "If not the Lord, it's in vain," and has inked its name in not only academics but also sport that make it one of Uganda's most prestigious.
This year's Uganda International Trade Fair is among the shows where exhibitors in agriculture and construction slashed commodity prices to enable showgoers buy at affordable prices. Misha Steels, Durham Motors, Field Boosters and universities are among the local manufacturers whose stalls was a center of interest by customers.
The prices have been cut down. If you come to buy expanded metal, which was at 37, you take it at 33 or 34. DRC's A142, which was at 750, you take it at 710. Barbed wires, which we've been selling at 125, you take it at 120. You are welcome. Everything has been cut down from 2 years of COVID. We've been receiving awards of Mesha being the best, Lydia being the best woman exhibitor in Uganda for 3 consecutive times. And
today we have brought you a product that's very good. It's helping people in different sectors. Agriculture sector, this product is helping you very well. It is even taking harvests from their farms. It is taking milk from their farms. So please, we are calling upon all farmers to come and advocate for this kind of a bike. It's very good, and we guarantee you not to regret after buying this bike. Whoever doesn't have enough money, we're also calling you upon, because we are now working hand in hand to different banks. It's accelerations like a Pasola.
The tractor here you see is one of its kind. It is an electrical tractor. All the tractors you see in Uganda consume fuel. This tractor does not consume any fuel. It is fully electric, and we have battery operated and motors there. It's as powerful as any tractor you see out there.
This Abo is the way to go. You cannot go wrong when you use Abo. Our products range from stomach booster, which is very suitable and good for stomach complications, ulcers, peptic ulcers, pancreatitis, and all stomach complications that you can think of or that you are experiencing. That stomach booster is there to combat that. So we have we have field booster organic honey. We have medicine for prostate that helps to protect against prostate enlargement, and various drugs.
When Uganda was attaining its sovereignty in 1962, a then youthful Somali refugee living in Chisenyi, Kampala, Abed Saad, also walked up and started a mini restaurant specialized in pilau making. Today, as Uganda moves to celebrate 60 years of independence, Uhuru restaurant is not only making 60 as well, but also celebrating the brand it has become. Take a look.
Uhuru restaurant is one of the best and tasty pilau making places in Kampala. As Uganda celebrates 60 years of sovereignty, the restaurant is also making its 60 years of service.
Most people know about Indians, most of the Indians being in business, the Madvanis, the Metas, for the last 50, 60 years. But this time, also Uhuru has been in business for the last 60 years, and that's when it was opened by my father.
Opened up in 1962 by Abed Saj, the restaurant not only boasts of quality and reliable services, but it has been the benchmarking place for newcomers on board.
It is and is still famous for the best pilau in the country.
Salim Uhuru notes with great pleasure that the restaurant has, amid its tough trends, lived to fulfill the dreams of its founder.
We have never gone to exile. We have been there all these years, all this change of governments, we have been there. And whichever government was coming, we were very, very, very good friends. So I can say all forces. If you can do a random check, all these high-ranking officers have eaten in our restaurant.
Uhuru, who is currently serving as the Kampala Central Mayor, is quick to extend a vote of thanks to the NRM government, which holds a lion's share of 36 years of leadership from the 60 years of independence.
I want to give a distinction to my NRM party for the security. Because if I want to move today to, let's say, Ajumani, I just have to go to Shell petrol station, fill my fuel, and drive. If I want to go to Kisoro, the same thing. There are no more roadblocks, Nini, all that is history. So I give credit to where I do. Number two, going to Arua will take you 2 weeks. Did you know that? Or you never knew about that? Then you go with the convoy, escorts. But nowadays that is no longer there.
Many local businesses inherited by children have on several occasions suffered setbacks, but for Uhuru Restaurant, why has this been a different case?
I grew up with my dad. He died in 2009. But I've been with him. I grew up with him in Kisenyi. I'm original born in Kisenyi. That's where I've grown up from. And I'm proud to be a product of Kisenyi. It has changed my lifestyle. It has showed me how to live in the society. So my father has really mentored me.
Uganda's economy has registered tremendous strides along the 60 years path, and this has been a journey supported by both the natives and foreigners.
The Indians, when they came, they motivated. They were business-minded, oriented. The Ugandans were rarely, they used to be the ones that would send for things. When Amin came, chased the Indians, empowered the locals. The locals failed to run what were given to them. That showed they had lacked specialization. But end of the day today, most Ugandans are businessmen. So all that is because of Amin. Him chasing them made us more, independent, made us more creative, and made us hardworking.
Although many Ugandans have on several occasions castigated foreign investors to sweep up job opportunities meant for them, Uhuru holds a different idea about such talk.
Let me give you an example. This is a restaurant. Are you aware most restaurants are using Kenyans? Do that research. Most restaurants are using Kenyans. Why? Because they are more hardworking. For me here, my brother, a waiter, is going to come and say, I want a job. What kind of job can you do? Chona chompa, njakola. Tiny skill, that's number one. Number two, when you give him a job, omwezi ngera kufuna sente meka. He's already interested in how much is he getting. But I want to ask you, what value are you adding to my business? If I leave you in my business because I want you to be a partner in my business, a decision you are going to take, is it for the good of the company? But most of them think of making their own money out of you and then opening up their own restaurant.
There are many such inspiring stories out there, and as Uganda hosts its 60th independence anniversary on Sunday 9th October 2022, there is a general call to the youth to desist from handouts. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Africa and the world has worked towards women emancipation, and the national resistance movement holds the baton. And now, as the country nears its 60th independence anniversary celebrations, the plaudits and advice to better women empowerment have come in handy.
Women leaders in Bushenyi district have applauded the national resistance movement government for its Women Emancipation Initiative, which has benefited the nation. Renowned businesswoman Harriet Mohebo, however, advises women not to rest on their laurels, but rather improve themselves for better.
In Uganda, women are empowered. As we celebrate our independence, we are very happy. And the government of Uganda is making a woman feel proud. Even as we celebrate our independence, we know that where we have come from and where we are heading, we are on the right track. And we know that we shall make it as long as a woman is, even you can't say that they are badly placed. If you qualify, you go where you are supposed to go. For example, when you look at the past record and the present record, you see women are being empowered at all levels.
Meanwhile, the National Resistance Movement government continues to be appreciated in Western Uganda for its economic reforms like savings and credit cooperative societies that have improved household incomes.
His Excellency always talks of core rights dachonka. So I implore the Ugandans, especially the people of the Western, who are our members, to concentrate on working for a saving, not working only to feed, because we need to survive economically. So I encourage our members to always save whatever little they can. Let them save some monies to do some other economic activities.
The money from the savings and credit cooperative societies enables Ugandans, especially women, to venture into business and agriculture, which has enabled higher gross domestic product.
So, since 1986, when NRM came into power, the wind of change blew into the economy of Uganda. And now we are talking about prosperity. When you excite the population on a project, there are those who doubt. So we have what we call early adopters.
And with that, UBC News Tonight comes to an end. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu in Sign Language Interpretation. Good night.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's weather update. We're having thunder showers dominating most parts of our country, but most especially around lake shores. And seeing the satellite picture, we're having a diffused rainbow in the middle of our Africa, including a country Uganda, in combination with moist winds are blowing from Indian Ocean and that from the Congo Airmass, enhancing the wet activities that we are having. Lately, tomorrow morning, we expect to wake up with light isolated showers in our central part of our country, more especially around lake shores, including our capital city Kampala, and the western part of our country is expected to wake up with sunny intervals, apart from Jinja where we are seeing light isolated showers, and the western part still with sunny intervals, and Masindi with light isolated showers. But the northern part of our country is expected to wake up with sunny intervals, most part of it, apart from some few areas like Gulu and Ria where we are seeing isolated showers. In the afternoon hours, we are seeing a pickup of rainfall in most parts of our country, more especially the central part of our country, at a maximum 28 degrees Celsius across Nakasongo and 27 within our capital city, Kampala. Seeing the eastern part of our country, thunder showers at a maximum 28 degrees Celsius, apart from Tolo, we are seeing 29 degrees Celsius. Seeing the western part of our country, it is still with thunder showers dominating most parts of it at a maximum 28 degrees Celsius, at the lowest of 23 degrees Celsius across Kawali Highlands. Going to the northern country, we are seeing thunder showers dominating part of it, most of it at a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. Is moving out of our country, fueling that few cities across the globe that we have for you. Our neighborhood Nairobi are having sunny intervals at a maximum 26 degrees Celsius. New York with sunny conditions, and Cairo at a maximum 29 degrees Celsius across Cairo, and London with sunny intervals at a maximum 28 degrees Celsius. Thank you for tuning on UBC. I wish you a good Independence Day. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high